that name for many different reasons, but the main reason's because he was a bad dude behind the wheel. The year was 1980. The car was a Corvette, big block, 4-speed. Wasn't nothing in town that could touch it. And just like every other guy that had a Corvette, basically had to beat the women off of him. Let's face it, I mean, there just wasn't enough room for more than one. And he went out and had fun Saturday nights and won lots of money and, just lived up every inch of the 80s. Hot rods were really thriving. Drag racing was strong. Greg was in the thick of it. New Balance shoes and all. Till one day he met Sarah. And they got hitched. It was time for Greg to step away from the hot rod life and become a family man. One would say that for a minute, the pimp died. Well, Bad Greg became Dad Greg. And boy, he enjoyed every minute of it. Him and his daughter Kylie, they tore it up and they had a great time. He was a great dad. But even though he was a dad, he still had that bad side in him. Came out from time to time. He was ready for another hot rod. If you're a Bad Greg, you can't cruise around in something that ain't cool. So he found the Rat, 68 Camaro, big block. Him and his wife Sarah went out having a great time in it. Hit a couple power tours, did some smoky burnouts. I mean, they were living their best life. Yeah, I'd say Bad Greg was back in his element and feeling pretty good. Till one day he wanted a little more power. And he ran into the lumberjack. One day the old lumberjack and Greg went to the racetrack, and Greg was telling him he wanted to make some more power, and the old big block just wasn't cutting it anymore. So the lumberjack went to town, doing a little bit here, a little bit there. They went back to the track and ran some numbers and tuned it up a little bit more. Ended up tossing another carburetor on it. Boy, I'd say Bad Greg looks pretty darn happy, don't he? You forget about the possibility of bad things happening, like rear ends breaking, transmissions grenading, which happened in this car twice, and I'm pretty sure twice on the rear end. Old 502, she just made the Turk, And them old parts on that car have been beat on for years, so yeah, it was only a matter of time before all hell broke loose. And so they started fixing things and rebuilding things, and it just started to snowball, but the car kept getting faster and faster. And if you're watching this, you're into cars, so you know it's worse than a cocaine addiction. Hot rodding will take your wallet, swallow it whole, and crap out what's left. Next thing you know, you're on the ground picking up what came out of its rear end, taking it back to the speed shop to try and buy more parts with what's left over. But I mean, who likes money anyway? Can't take that shit with you when you die. Might as well live it now. I think that boy's gonna need a new set of tires pretty soon. Bad Greg and Lumberjack, they hit the track every weekend. They even decided to hit a little power tour together. Lumberjack Jr. hopped in the car and they drove across the great state of Texas and into Oklahoma. They even stopped by and saw them fancy TV boys on the outlaw streets or whatever it's called. Yeah, life was pretty good. The old big old bad rat was better than ever. But you know, it's like anything else, you want more. You always want more. Yeah. So Greg and the Lumberjack devised a plan with Leadfoot Shoals and Damn It Dave and a couple of others. And it was quite a doozy. The car was going to be down for a while. It was time for a freshen up, but Bad Greg wanted to go big. Yeah, he really wanted this next build here to knock it out of the park. So they sat down, put pen to paper. They had kind of a plan together. First it was a 509 with twin turbos, and then it turned to 632 cubic inch tall deck, naturally aspirated, to a 540 in nitrous. Then one day Greg goes to the Autorama, comes back to the Lumberjack and says, I want a Procharger. Well, Lumberjack was a little reluctant, but it was Greg's money, Greg's rat. Bad Greg wanted to be real bad. So that's what they did. They tore this sucker down, built a 509 CSU blow-through carburetor, F1R Procharger, bad turbo 400, and a Moser 12-bolt with all-cow track suspension.
It's 1 a.m. We're starting this loud-ass car in this quiet neighborhood.
out.
It's locked out.
I know, I forgot. I forgot.
No. MSD, you have to. You dick.
Full time.
No,
Oh,
I
too
think
much.
actually you're supposed to test it revved up too.
Oh,
yeah, actually, right.
Too much.
That's safe.
Safe. I like safe.
Well, it looks like Bad Greg and the Lumberjack accomplished the goal, right? Well, not exactly. Like any hot rod, this one had its hiccups too. So, they started fighting wiring gremlins, MSD issues, and, everything of that sort. So the Grey Ghost took it upon himself to rewire the whole car and get it right. Well, if it's not a Leadfoot Shoals and Pablo Escobar Nova. You'll learn more about these two in that little hot rod a little later. Yeah, I'd have to say Bad Greg's come full circle. Yeah, he's a real happy and righteous dude. That bad side's back, and that rat serves a purpose. If you think he's done, you're a bigger fool than I thought. Just wait till we get this bad boy to the track. Stay tuned for more Bad Greg and the Rat.